Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new Red Dead Online video with me, Sherman. Today guys, a little different than what I normally do. I usually cover Elder Scrolls Online, maybe a few other games here and there, but I really wanted to talk a little bit about Red Dead Online and why I've been kind of stuck in this world. So first off, if you guys don't know what Red Dead Online is, it is a version of Red Dead Redemption 2, the online-only mode. Right now you can pick it up on Steam for $4.99. You can also pick it up on Xbox, PlayStation, and the Rockstar games for $4.99. So if you are interested in checking out the game, I'd advise you to go and do that. It's a pretty cheap price for a game that offers a lot, even though a lot of people say otherwise, which we'll get into later in the video. So what is Red Dead Online? Like I said, it is an online version of Red Dead, which is a Western setting game. So it's set in the Old West. It's created by the same people who made Grand Theft Auto. It's a fantastic game. And right now the holiday winter event is going on. You know, Christmas time. And I have to say, I am thoroughly and utterly blown away by what they did here with the snow. But it's also one of the things I want to talk about is excuse me, is how immersive this game is. And I have to give a major shout out to Rockstar Games for the amount of detail they put into this game and how it plays, how it looks, everything. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is the shared world design of it. Now, if you guys don't know what a shared world is, it's an online world that only allows a certain number of players to exist in a shard, or in a server instance, if you will. So, it's basically like, and I want you to see this. So this is the map of Red Dead. It's 24 square miles of space that you get to explore and ride through and everything else. Which a lot of people like isn't very big. It's not, I mean, no offense to anyone, this is nowhere near as big as Grand Theft Auto by any means, but that's because you're on horseback. You're not in cars, you're not flying airplanes. You're on horseback 90 to 100% of the game, you know? Like horseback or foot. So you don't have any other really modes of transportation besides a quick travel that you can use in different towns or at different train stations. So, what does this have to do with what I'm talking about, this shared world? And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that I feel like if anyone was going to make an online game, this is the kind of design you need to go with. One, what a shared world allows, it allows the developers to create more immersive, more deeper worlds than what we've experienced in other online games. Now, I will admit, Black Desert Online does MMO like world thing the best. I mean, you got a massive open world, but the problem with that game is there's no real dungeons in that game, but there is a lot of underground somewhat to explore, just like this game has underground to explore, you know, mine shafts, caves, things like that, but they're not massive. They're just random, you know, they're in specific locations, but they have random things that could happen in there. Like, you can go there one day and it could be a bandit camp. You can go there one day and you might get attacked by bears or wolves, or you never know. In this game, I never know what's going to happen on any of my experiences in it. So every time I load in, it's like playing a new game. And yet, god dang it, really? You had to do it when I was recording, buddy. I don't like shooting people. Honestly, I don't. because I'm not here to really cause problems. I'm just here to play. So, and that was another player trying to grief me. And it happens. I'm not saying it doesn't. It kind of makes for an immersive world. And I will say this, if Rockstar, if you're listening about this, do something about the damn hacking on PC. It's ridiculous. Like, when it happens, there's stupid things that people do with it that need to be fixed. Now, I'm not saying it happens all the time. It's few and far between that I've experienced it. Luckily enough. But it is one of the things that can really ruin an experience for some players. So, but let's go ahead and and finish this discussion. So, what Red Dead Online does really well is the shared world experience. Now, I played Destiny 2. Destiny 2 uses a shared world gaming, like server system, and it's good, but it's also, the maps are like really condensed. So like if I go to a planet, the planet's actually broken up into several instances. So you have, and the transition between those instances is pretty much immediately. So, like, you can be in a section of a map, and it's just you and whoever's in that section. It doesn't count the rest of the players in that planetary thing. It just counts who's in that instance. And the same thing applies here, but it's with the whole world. So, like, if I go in here and I look at how many players, which I'm not going to pull up because I don't like to share other people's names. If I click on this, it'll show how many players are in this instance. And now each world, as far as I know, can hold up to 32 players. Each instance. Which I think is really cool. I mean, I think that's just enough to make it an online multiplayer game. Now, I'm not saying it's a massive multiplayer game, because, I mean, a massive multiplayer, you're talking like millions of people. But what a lot of people don't realize is even in those massive multiplayer games, even EverQuest, Elder Scrolls, and even World of Warcraft have servers, but those servers have instance shards within them, or instanced zones, or instance cities, or instance locations within them, due to questing and other things like that. So I just want to say this. I do think that this is a great system that I think a lot of companies should look into doing when it comes to online gaming. I mean, we know right now, and I ain't going to get into CD Projekt Red's problem with Cyberpunk, but CD Projekt Red has talked about making a multiplayer version of Cyberpunk. This is how they could do it, and they could make it work really good. Do a shared world instead of a massive multiplayer online world or a massive multiplayer game. Make it a multiplayer online shared world so people can play interactively with each other. I mean, if they were smart, they would do a Witcher version. If BioWare was smart, they would do a Dragon Age version like that. You know, where players can make their own character and play in a shared world in those worlds. There's so many different things that could be done with this system that I think would make for a really interesting and cool game experience. But I have to tell you, one of the things that I've been really enjoying about playing Red Dead and the way that the shared world system works is it's a hell of a lot more immersive. It allows them to create living, breathing worlds. Like in this game, I can come out here and I know that there's going to be a certain type of animal in this region, like the bull elks, which are just right over there taking off. There's the Rocky Mountain bighorns. There's the white-tailed deer. There is turkeys, squirrels, skunks, raccoons, possum in this area. And I know I can hunt them here. But they're not always in the same locations. They vary. They move around. I just scared off that pack. They ran off up in the woods. And they'll disappear. They will literally vanish from being spawned. And they're not going to respawn in the same spot. They're going to spawn somewhere else in this area that I can hunt them. So I think that that system that they use for that is great. It's probably one of the better systems that, I've seen when it comes to the online space. And like I said, yes, this game has a problem with hackers. But that's on the PC version the most, from what I understand. I've talked to a lot of people who play this game on the forums and such, and that's what they say. It usually has to do with the forums version of the game. So, not anything to do with the other stuff. Oh my god, I'm gonna get shot here because I'm being stupid. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to talk to this guy. So, oh, 3. And that's the thing, like, that kind of interaction with players is also the other thing I like about this game. Is like, you run across players, won't mess with you. They won't try to kill you. They just saw me take out 2 wolves and were like, oh, cool. Like, he's probably out doing the same thing. He's probably out hunting for meat and whatnot. But again, like, the amount of detail they put into this game is incredible because of the shared world system. Like I said, how many games do you know of where, like, you saw those 2 riders on the road? Well, I can ride this road 100 times, and I will never run across the same riders twice most of the time. Now, they do have a kind of, like, random NPC generation when it comes to stuff.
Whatever
like,
you're planning, be sure to leave me out of it. What's wrong with you?
See that guy? He pulled his rifle on me. I'm gonna move away from him, otherwise he will try to kill me. Because he thinks I'm like a bad guy. So, and that's kind of cool. I love that interaction in the world with this game. But here's the thing I want to talk about too. One of the things I want to talk about. Could you imagine if Rockstar decided, okay, Red Dead did really good, for a game. Grand Theft Auto did really good for a game. Let's bring the players another game. Another game set in another setting. Could you imagine a Mad Max style game set in the, like, future of this world that they created for these games? Because they did state, this is a previous era. This is the Western era of Grand Theft Auto, and they could do Grand Theft Auto, like a Grand Theft Auto in the future. I mean, there's a lot of things they could do, like the Mad Max setting. I think would be cool if they did it right. I mean, a mix of Red Dead and a mix of Grand Theft Auto Online. Wow, I don't know what they would call it. I mean, but I think that would be really cool. Or even me and my brother were talking a fantasy setting, and it wouldn't even have to be a fantasy setting like Dungeons and Dragons. It would just have to be like a fantasy setting where it would be like set in a more medieval type time period. Like, you could even have, like, they have in this game, one of the towns is infected with cholera. And you go there and the people are walking around all grossly sick and everything. They're coughing and all that. And they tell you, don't spend too much time in that town because of this. So, but that's what I mean. Like, if they can do this kind of a game, but they do it in a fantasy or a medieval setting, where you could create the kind of character you wanted, and you could wear, like, Viking type gear, like equipment, like your character would look like they were wearing Viking stuff. or your character would look like they were wearing Arabian Night stuff, or your character would look like they're wearing like British, like the European armor, or you know, like Scottish armor. You know, like you have a kilt and stuff. Like, I mean, that would be cool. And I don't know what the story would be, but you know, I do think that they could do a lot of stuff with this. That would be fantastic. And I do agree that, or I do think, I don't agree, I think that if they're going to do a multiplayer online version of Cyberpunk, do it like this. But put anti-hacking stuff on the PC version so we don't get those problems. Because it is kind of annoying when you're playing this game and all of a sudden somebody like hacks it to where there's dynamite everywhere you step, and it just sits there and blows you up no matter what you're doing. And it's like, it's not 1 or 2 sticks of dynamite, it's like 150. So it just obliterates you. And then, this will happen continuously until you log off and log back in, and it puts you in a different instance than that person. Because what they do is they make it happen to everybody in that instance, all 32 players, except for themselves. So, really annoying. But yeah, I mean, look at what they did in the amount of detail they put into this game. For a Western game, like, this is probably the most realistic game feel I've ever played, or played, you know, I've ever played a game I've ever played that has this kind of immersiveness in it. Like, you can see my guy is cold. Like, he's not freezing, he's cold. And I know that because his health keeps going down and I keep getting a symbol popping up saying that it's cold. And that's cool. I love that they put that in here. That they make it to where you have to react to the environment. And the fact that it's winter time right now for like a week is incredible. And I have to give a shout out to somebody, guys. So to Cascadian Games. Like, why didn't you tell me about this sooner? Like, why didn't you get me playing this game sooner? Like, you probably knew if I ever did play it, I would become hooked on it immediately. That's why. It is an amazing game, though. And an amazing amount of detail. I can't express that more. The other thing I would love to see them do with this, and I will be doing other videos on this game talking about some of this stuff, but like, this game needs player housing. Like, where you can buy your own homestead or your own place that's instanced to you or your posse. That would be cool. Like, if I bought a mansion, or I bought just a little, like, cabin up in the woods. Because that's what I would do. I'd buy a cabin in the woods, and I would just live there all the time. And they don't have to make the cabins, like make them a cash, you know, like make it where you can buy them with cash or gold bars, whatever. But make it, you know, like a reasonable price. Like, say $50,000 for the mansion, or $25,000 for a house, you know, like whatever, or $10,000. I mean, we know they're not gonna copy what they did in the past. I mean, you know how much a piece of property back in 1892 or 93 or whatever year this, or what year this is set in, how much a house would have cost then? Like, you know, $100. Like, for a piece of property, I mean, we're talking like 100, like for 50 acres. There was sometimes, I remember reading here, because I live in Arizona, and there's a town here, I would have to ask my wife the name of it, but it's, they reenact Western stuff, and it's really close to where we live. But they do, they have like the old-timey newspapers, and they have in there some of the advertisements for property, and some of it was like 50 cents an acre. Like, what? This game we know it don't follow those policies, because, I mean, when you got to spend $300 for a coat, this is the Old West. $300 was a hell of a lot of money. So $5,000 was way a lot of money, and some of the bounties in this are pretty accurate on what you would get paid, like $12-13, like $50 or even $200, depending on the amount of people that were part of the bounty or how dangerous they were. But even Billy the Kid, I think, only had a $10,000 bounty. That was one of the highest bounties in the Old West. So it was like, you know, they didn't have, you know, 50,000, 100,000 dollar bounties. But yeah, I mean, I could go on, guys. I literally could. But I do think that what Rockstar did with this shared world design that they did with this, and even Grand Theft Auto, like like when you play Grand Theft Auto, you are put into a world of 32 other players. That's it. Like the whole world of Grand Theft Auto is NPCs mostly that you interact with, and I do think that they did a great job in both games in how they did it, and how they set it up. Like you have guns, like the gunsmith stores that you can go to get your weapons, and then you have other stores where you can, like a general goods store, they might carry clothing. Then in some places they have clothing stores, and it really depends on the city and stuff. And I think that they did a really good job of capturing that. And the different towns in this game, and the different places that you go, like the different environments, like where I'm at right now in the mountains, this is how it would have been. Like I can tell you this from my own experiences where I live. This looks like the mountains here in the wintertime. It would be just like this.
For a horse as fine as that.
Oh. Yeah, everyone keeps praising me on my horse because I got a really fine horse, apparently. It's a really good, what I call a mountain horse, but a lot of people would be like, oh, it's a multi-horse. But multi-horses back then were horses that were taken in, or bred to do a little bit of everything really good. So I love this horse, that the fact that it's a multi-purpose horse. I can use it for hauling stuff. I can use it for riding hard, you know, whatever. It does it all. But the main reason why I have it is because I consider it my horse from Snowy River. I'm a huge fan of that movie. Grew up with it, so always loved it. Him and his horse. How they went and rustled up all the wild horses in Australia. The Brummies. And I will never forget that scene where he cracks his whip as he's going over the side of the hill to go after the Brummies and herd them in. I wish, and I agree with my the people I play with. I wish they would have added that. Damn it. He's still in training, so normally he would have jumped that if he was fully trained, but he's not yet. But I do love this game. I think that they, like, again, I think they did a fantastic job environmentally, all that. Like this game is so cool. Like those deer and how they react to pronghorn. How they run in and out of the tracks, and as I get closer, if I stick to one side, they'll break off to the other side. They almost have real animal interaction with how they react to stuff, which I think was cool. I also lived in Wyoming for a while. Was a cowboy myself for a little bit. And not a big cowboy. Trust me, I was only there for a year, and only did some farm work. Every once in a while, took care of some horses, some horses, some cows, and chickens. And the cows, we didn't really do anything. We just made sure they were in the property line. They actually had somebody who went out and rustled them up. Another guy they had hired for that, and he would only come out like once a month to bring them in, and then so they could get like make sure they were healthy and all that kind of stuff. And then like the chickens were all in like they had two pens or two coops. for them. They had the males, they had all these female ones, and they had the younglings. They put in another. What they mean by younglings is like they weren't mature enough to mate to produce chicken eggs, so they put them in a different location. Oh, don't do it! Don't do it! Oh, good save there, Sable. Here you go again. Oh, we're going down all the way. All right, we'll go up this way then. Really? You're gonna do this every time? Good horse, but you need to learn. Here we go. See, now that's a mountain horse. And yes, horses could actually do drops of like 10, 15 feet if they were trained. There was a bigger chance that you would actually injure the horse, but they're pretty sturdy and pretty stable animals, so. Had to return to camp. But yeah, great game. Loving it. Such amazing. And I'll admit, there isn't a lot. Well, like, a lot of people say there's not a lot to do with the game because, like, you feel like you're repeating certain bounties. Or when you do, like, the trade routes, depending on where you have your camp stationed. Like, I have mine up here in, I keep it up in Cumberland Forest. It's where I do most of my hunting. It's a good area. Look at this. I have a little Christmas tree, guys. I thank Rockstar for that. That's cool. And yes, I already got my Christmas presents. Thank you, Rockstar. Oh. But yeah, that's it. I don't want to carry on in this video. I'll do other videos talking about other aspects of the game, like bounty hunting, talking about the trader system, moonshining, naturalist, all that, and kind of bringing you guys that information, and so you know what it's about. So if you guys are interested in seeing more Red Dead, check out my videos. I'm gonna have a lot more coming in time. This is just one of many. So that's pretty much it for the video, guys. I want to thank you all for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, you guys know what's coming next. Go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, you can subscribe. Other than that, thank you all again for watching. And until next time, this guy might see you in the Old West. Bye.